Want a healthy, productive flock? It all starts with the right coop setup. In this video, I'll show you the essential features every chicken coop needs so your hens stay safe, happy, and laying. Welcome to Green Profit Cultivate, where we help beginners raise healthy chickens, collect more eggs, and live sustainably. Subscribe for weekly tips on chicken farming, egg production, and composting hacks. Let's start with one of the most important but sometimes overlooked features of a chicken coop, the roosts. Chickens are natural perchers. At night, they want to get up off the ground to feel safe while they sleep. In the wild, they'd roost on branches to protect themselves from predators. In your coop, the roosts you provide serve that same purpose, giving them a safe, elevated spot to rest. If you don't give your flock proper roosts, they may end up sleeping in nesting boxes or even on the ground, which can lead to dirty feathers, more disease risk, and even broken eggs. So what does a good roost look like? First, think about height. Chickens like to be up high, but not so high that they injure themselves jumping down. A general rule of thumb is to set roosts between 18 inches and 3 feet off the ground, depending on the breed. Heavier breeds like Orpingtons prefer lower roosts, while lighter birds like Leghorns are happy to go higher. Next is spacing. Each bird needs about 8 to 10 inches of roosting space so they aren't cramped. And make sure there's enough room for the whole flock to fit comfortably side by side, especially in colder weather when they'll huddle close for warmth. And finally, let's talk about materials. Smooth wooden bars work best because they're sturdy and gentle on a chicken's feet. Avoid slippery metal pipes or plastic. They don't give enough grip and can cause foot injuries over time. A rounded edge, about the width of a broom handle, is perfect. Now, if you're just getting started, you don't have to build roosts from scratch. There are great pre-made roost bars and coop starter kits that already include them, saving you time and making sure your flock has exactly what they need. I've linked a few of my favorites in the description below. Bottom line, roosts aren't optional. They're essential for your chickens' health, safety, and comfort. Give them the right perch and you'll have a flock that sleeps better, stays healthier, and lays more consistently. Next up, let's talk about something every chicken keeper looks forward to: the nesting boxes. These are the cozy spaces where your hens will lay their eggs, and if they're set up right, they'll help you collect clean, unbroken eggs day after day. Now, why are nesting boxes so important? If hens don't have a dedicated, comfortable spot, they'll lay eggs wherever they feel like it, in corners, on the floor, or even outside in the dirt. That makes it harder to collect, and it also increases the chances of eggs getting dirty, cracked, or eaten. A proper nesting box gives your hens privacy and comfort, and it gives you predictable places to find your eggs. So how many boxes do you need? A good rule of thumb is 1 nesting box for every 3 to 4 hens. They won't all lay at the same time, and often you'll find they'll share a favorite box anyway, but having enough reduces competition and stress. Placement also matters. Nesting boxes should be positioned a little off the ground but lower than the roosts. Why? Because chickens prefer to roost higher at night, and if the boxes are higher, they might start sleeping in them instead, and that leads to dirty, soiled nests. Keep the boxes shaded, quiet, and in a part of the coop that feels safe. What about size and bedding? Each box should be roughly 12 by 12 inches, big enough for most standard breeds to fit comfortably. For bedding, use materials like pine shavings, straw, or even reusable nesting pads. Bedding keeps eggs cushioned, clean, and safe from breaking. Plus, hens are more likely to return to a nest that feels soft and secure. And here's a pro tip. Add a few ceramic or fake eggs in the boxes when you're first training hens. It signals to them this is where eggs go, and encourages them to use the boxes. If you're new to chicken keeping, you don't have to build all this from scratch. There are excellent pre-made nesting boxes and washable nesting pads available that make the process easier and more hygienic. I've linked some great beginner-friendly options in the description for you. In short, nesting boxes are essential not just for your hens, but for you too. Get them right, and you'll have cleaner eggs, happier hens, and a much easier time collecting your daily basket. Now let's move on to bedding, something that might not sound exciting at first, but it plays a huge role in keeping your chickens healthy and your coop clean. Bedding is the material that lines the floor of your coop and the nesting boxes. Its main job is to absorb moisture, control odor, and give your hens a comfortable, dry place to walk, rest, and lay eggs. Without the right bedding, coops can quickly become damp, smelly, and a breeding ground for bacteria and parasites. That's the fastest way to create health problems, like respiratory issues, mites, and dirty eggs. So what are the best options? For most backyard keepers, pine shavings are the go-to choice. They're affordable, highly absorbent, and easy to clean. Just avoid cedar shavings, because the strong oils can harm your chickens' lungs. Another popular choice is straw. It's soft and warm, though it doesn't absorb as well, so it needs to be replaced more often. Some chicken keepers also use sand in their coops because it drains well and makes daily cleaning easy, almost like scooping a litter box. For nesting boxes specifically, you might consider reusable nesting pads. These are washable, long-lasting, and keep eggs cleaner by providing a cushioned, sanitary surface. They're especially beginner-friendly because you don't have to replace them as often as loose bedding. Depth is another important factor. Aim for at least 2 to 4 inches of bedding on the coop floor so your hens have enough cushion and absorbency underfoot. In cold climates, a deeper layer also provides insulation, while in hot weather, thinner layers with more frequent cleaning work best. The good news is that whichever bedding you choose, it eventually breaks down and can be composted, along with chicken manure. That means it doesn't go to waste, it becomes a resource for your garden. To save time, I've linked some of my favorite bedding options and nesting pads in the description below. Choosing the right bedding will make your life easier and your chickens healthier. It's one of those small details that makes a big difference. Next up on our list of coop essentials are feeders and waterers. These may seem simple, but having the right setup can make a big difference in how healthy your flock is and how much money you save on wasted feed. Let's start with feeders. Chickens are messy eaters by nature. If you just toss feed on the ground or use an open container, a lot of it will be scratched out, spilled, or spoiled. That's wasted money and wasted nutrition. A good feeder is designed to keep the feed contained, clean, and accessible to all your birds. Hanging feeders and gravity-fed designs are excellent because they minimize waste and keep the feed off the ground, away from dirt and pests. Now for waterers. Clean, fresh water is just as important as feed, maybe even more so. Chickens drink more water than you'd expect, especially during hot weather, and dehydration can stop egg production almost instantly. Simple open bowls can get dirty fast with bedding, droppings, or even curious hens standing inside them. That's why many chicken keepers use nipple waterers or automatic water systems, which deliver clean water on demand and prevent contamination. Placement is key too. Feeders and waterers should be raised slightly off the ground, about the height of a chicken's back, to reduce waste and keep them cleaner. And make sure you have enough for the size of your flock. As a rule, 1 standard feeder and 1 waterer per 6 to 8 hens works well. The good news is there are excellent no-waste feeders and automatic waterers available that are affordable and beginner-friendly. I've linked some of my favorites in the description, so you don't have to guess which ones will work best for your coop. Getting feed and water right may not sound exciting, but it's one of the most important parts of keeping your flock productive. Healthy hens with access to clean food and water will reward you with more eggs and fewer health problems. Another feature that every good coop needs, and one that beginners often underestimate, is ventilation. Proper airflow inside your chicken coop is absolutely essential for keeping your flock healthy. Here's why. Chickens breathe out moisture, and their droppings release ammonia. Without good ventilation, that moisture builds up, and the ammonia smell gets stronger. Damp, stuffy air is a recipe for respiratory issues, frostbite in cold weather, and even mold and bacteria growth. You might not see the problem right away, but over time, poor ventilation can seriously impact your flock's health and egg production. So, what does good ventilation look like? First, it's about having openings in the right places. Fresh air should come in low and exit high. That way, you're creating a natural airflow that carries out moisture and ammonia without creating drafts directly on the birds. Vents or small windows near the top of the coop are ideal. In hot climates, larger openings covered with hardware cloth can keep air moving while still keeping predators out. In colder areas, you want smaller, adjustable vents that you can open or close depending on the season. Another key is balance. Too little airflow and the coop gets damp. Too much and your chickens get drafts, which can stress them out and lower egg production. Aim for steady, gentle airflow, not a wind tunnel. If you're building a coop, plan ventilation into the design from the start. And if you already have a coop that feels stuffy, it's easy to add ventilation panels, vent covers, or screened windows. I've linked some beginner-friendly vent kits and rolls of hardware cloth in the description. They're affordable, simple to install, and make a big difference in air quality. Bottom line, ventilation isn't optional. It's one of the most important coop essentials for preventing disease and keeping your flock comfortable year-round. Last but definitely not least, let's talk about security. Even if you've got the perfect roosts, nesting boxes, bedding, feeders, and ventilation, all of it won't matter if your flock isn't protected from predators. Chickens are prey animals, and just about everything wants a chicken dinner. Foxes, raccoons, hawks, owls, snakes, dogs, even rats. Many new chicken keepers underestimate predators until it's too late, but trust me, once a predator figures out there's an easy meal in your coop, it will keep coming back night after night. So how do you keep your flock safe? The first step is using strong materials. Don't rely on cheap chicken wire. It keeps birds in, but it doesn't keep predators out. Raccoons and foxes can tear through it easily. Instead, use hardware cloth, which is a heavy-duty welded wire mesh, for all vents, windows, and openings. Next, think about doors and latches. Raccoons are surprisingly clever. They can open simple sliding bolts with their little hands. That's why you need predator-proof latches, like spring-loaded or locking types, on all doors and nest box openings. If you want extra peace of mind, consider an automatic chicken coop door that closes at dusk and opens at dawn. It's a lifesaver if you can't always be there at night. Don't forget the ground either. Many predators dig. To prevent this, you can bury hardware cloth around the perimeter of your coop and run, or install a predator apron that lays flat on the ground. This makes it nearly impossible for foxes or dogs to dig their way in. Finally, cover the top of your run with netting or wire, to protect against hawks and owls if you live in an area where aerial predators are common. I've linked some of my favorite hardware cloth, predator-proof latches, and automatic doors in the description. They're easy to install and can make the difference between a safe flock and a devastating loss. Remember, a secure coop isn't just about peace of mind. It's about giving your chickens the safe, stress-free environment they need to stay healthy and keep laying for years to come. Before we wrap up, let's talk about a few extra tips and upgrades that can take your coop from good to great. First up, dust baths. Chickens absolutely love them, and they're not just for fun. Dust bathing is how chickens keep themselves clean and free from mites and lice. If you don't provide a dust bath, they'll dig up your garden beds or flower pots to make one themselves. The easiest way to set one up is to add a shallow container, or a framed-off section filled with dry dirt, sand, and even a little wood ash. For beginners, there are also ready-made dust bath sand mixes that make it simple and mess-free. Next, let's talk about enrichment ideas. Chickens are curious creatures, and if they get bored, they can start pecking at each other or getting into bad habits. Simple additions like hanging cabbage balls, treat dispensers, or even perches and swings inside the run can give them something to do. It keeps them active, reduces stress, and leads to happier, healthier hens. And finally, consider adding an outdoor run attachment. If you don't want to fully free-range your birds, a secure run is the perfect compromise. It gives your chickens extra space to scratch, forage, and enjoy the sunshine, while keeping them safe from predators. Many modern coop kits now have optional run extensions that can be attached to your setup with minimal effort. I've linked some of my favorite coop add-ons, run extensions, and dust bath products in the description below to save you the guesswork. These little extras might not be essential, but they go a long way in keeping your flock entertained, stress-free, and ultimately more productive. So there you have it, the must-have essentials for every chicken coop. Sturdy roosts for safe sleep, comfortable nesting boxes for clean eggs, the right bedding to keep things dry, feeders and waterers that reduce waste, proper ventilation for fresh air, and of course predator-proof security. And if you want to go the extra mile, things like dust baths, enrichment, and run extensions can really upgrade your flock's lifestyle. Remember, a good coop isn't just about comfort, it's the foundation of a healthy, productive flock. Get these basics right, and you'll have chickens that are happier, less stressed, and more consistent in their egg production. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which coop feature do you think is the most important for beginners? Drop your answer in the comments below. Your insights could really help someone who's just starting out. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who's building their first coop, and don't forget to subscribe for more weekly tips on chicken farming, egg production, and composting hacks. And before you go, check out the description. I've linked my free backyard chicken starter checklist to help you plan your setup, along with my recommended coop kits, nesting boxes, feeders, and predator-proof gear to get you started with confidence. Thanks for watching Green Profit Cultivate, where we grow more, waste less, and live green. I'll see you in the next video.